This is a simple velocity question. I need to include unit. I realized that if I care about units, I should include units. So I need to edit these worksheets yet again. Let's do the position in meters and let's do the time in seconds. So they give us that when we say a particle moves along a coordinate axis, we're just saying it moves in a straight line. So it could be moving like from right to left or something like that, or it could be moving up or down. But it's a straight line. That's what that first sentence is saying. And they give us this position function, and they want to know what the velocity is at a particular time. So this question is basically saying, what's v of pi over 6? That's what they're asking us for. And what we need to do is we need to start with our position function, and then we need to calculate the velocity. And the velocity is just going to be the derivative of the position function, which in our case is going to be the derivative of sine is cosine. You keep the inside, which is 2t. You multiply by the derivative of the inside. The derivative of 2t is just 2. The derivative of cosine is negative sine, so we're going to put a minus sign here. You keep the inside, which is 3t. You multiply by the derivative of the inside, which is 3. So that's going to be our first derivative. Is there any questions about that first derivative? All right. So we know that we want to plug in a pi over 6. So v of pi over 6, that's going to be equal to 2 times cosine of, I like to write the constant in front if I rewrite it. 2 times pi over 6 is just pi over 3. And then minus 3 times sine of 3 times pi over 6 is just pi over 2. So we just got to figure out what those things are. So we could draw one of our standard triangles, the pi over 3, pi over 6, pi over 2 triangle. Remember, the shortest side is 1, the longest side is 2, and then the one in the middle is rad 3. And cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So in this particular case, it's going to be 2 times the adjacent side is 1, the hypotenuse is 2, so that's 2 times 1/2. Is there any questions about that part? No questions. For the sine of pi over 2, there's a couple ways I think about it. I can use the unit circle. Like this. The angle pi over 2 is the positive y-axis. When I look at this point right here, this point is 0, 1. And we know sine is always the y value. So that makes this guy minus 3 times 1. So in the end, we're going to get 1 minus 3, that's equal to negative 2. And our units are going to be meters per second. Does that make sense to everybody? Any questions? I have a question for you guys. Is the object moving forwards or backwards at pi over 2? At pi over 6, sorry. Forwards or backwards? Backwards is correct. Why is it moving backwards? Because the sign is negative. So usually positive is forwards and backwards be negatives. All right. Let's finish this off by looking at example 8. For example 8, we got to use the chain rule. Before I even look at the numbers, I already know that h prime of x is going to be equal to f prime of g of x times g prime of x. It's just a chain rule. This question, though, is asking me for h prime of 1. So that means I got to put in an f prime. I got to put in a g of 1 here times g prime of 1 like this. Okay. Then I know what g of 1 is. G of 1 is 3. So put f prime of 3 times g prime. Wait, g of 1 is not 3. G of 1 is 4. Sorry. G prime of 1 is 3. So I read in the 3 there. And then f prime of 4 is given right here. So that's going to be 7 times 3. So you get an answer of 21. So this is really just writing in the chain rule and then substituting in the numbers. It's nothing fancy about that.